What is going on, fans, friends, film fandom? I'll make that make sense. Sorry. You've heard it all before. But wherever you may be or how you may be listening, we appreciate you all being here and giving us just a little bit of your time. And as it's obvious, I am not Frank, and she is also not Brooding Gamer. But yeah, the show will still go on, as they say, or break a leg or something. It's supposed to be good luck. I don't know. But the other person here with me, I'm going to stop this music. It's getting on my nerves. The other person, so I'm not Frank. You know who I am. I don't have to explain myself. But Frank's still in the middle of his move, so he's kind of busy with that still. And Brooding Gamer said he was feeling a little under the weather. So joining me at the last minute would in fact be my wife, the other better half of this entire madness. That would be Tin Septim. And I would say, how are you doing? Even though I've, been sitting next to you here for the last half an hour.
I'm doing okay. Living life. Just being here. Ready to review this movie.
Yeah. Also, I apologize. We're going to be volleyballing back and forth here with the microphones because I could literally reach out about 2 feet and probably touch her hand. So just so we'll try our best not to talk over each other. Because oh, look at that. I'm going to talk about a better person who deserves first recognition. That would be my own mom down in the chat. Good evening to her two favorite people. I mean, I feel like you're biased, but that's okay. We know class when we see it. Okay. I'm only going to point this out because, apparently it's not my mom. Apparently when my wife's here, that's when Casey will be nice. But I mean, I don't know what kind of loopy land I entered. I will believe that when I see it. Oh, Lord, they wrote my comments. Holy crap. All right. Anywho, so we are here, of course, talking about, excuse me, Lilo and Stitch. And not to be confused with and I'm going to start throwing shade now, the superior 2002 version. No, we're here to talk about Lilo and Stitch from 2025, this current year. Lilo and Stitch is a 2025 American science fiction comedy film directed by Dean Fleischer Camp and written by Chris... Oh, Lord, that is a name that I'm going to butcher. Chris Kekaniokalani, Bright, and Mike Van Waes. Produced by Walt Disney Pictures and Rideback, the film is a live-action animated remake of Disney's 2002 traditionally animated film Lilo and Stitch, with some elements also based on that film's animated sequel films and TV show. It stars Maya K. God, I'm going to butcher these names, and I apologize so much. Maya Kealoha in her film debut as Lilo Pilikai, along with original Lilo and Stitch writer and director Chris Sanders, reprising his role as the voice of Stitch. It also stars Sydney Elizabeth Ediong, Billy Magnuson, Hannah Waddingham, Courtney B. Vance, and Zach Galifianakis, with original cast members Tia Carrere, Amy Hill, and Jason Scott Lee appearing in different supporting roles. That was a lot to read, and you all have very long names, so I'll just call you by your character names, so I'll make it easier. Lilo and Stitch premiered at the El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles on May 17th, 2025, and was released in the United States by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures, that's a weird way to say that, on May 23rd, 2025. The film has received mixed reviews from critics. It has grossed $613.5 million against a budget of $100 million, becoming the third grossest highest film of 2025. That's not bad. The film's received mixed reviews, however. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 70% of 184 critics' reviews are positive. The website's consensus reads, quote, recapturing the adorable charm of the original, if not quite matching its rambunctious sense of imagination, Lilo and Stitch emerges out of the crate as one of the better live-action remakes of a Disney classic. We can stop staring at Stitch's face now. So, yeah, that's lose my notes here. That's one way to put it, I suppose. I think mixed reviews is kind of a good way to put it. So what you saw it with me? What did you think of the movie? You can give me like a quick thought of what you thought about it.
I thought it was enjoyable. I had a good time watching it. I did get some spoilers ahead of seeing it, so I was kind of had mixed reviews before I went and saw it already because it was sort of spoiled for me. I enjoyed it up until a certain point. We'll put it that way. I'm not going to. Where's your little spoiler thing? I'm not going to spoiler it yet, but there were some things that happened that I wasn't pleased with, but there was a lot that I was pleased with as the movie went on. We'll put it that way.
That's a good way to put it. I think unfortunately I was on the same boat or on the same surfboard as it were. That's the age of the internet right now, where as soon as the movie drops, it's already out there. A lot of times people will lift the review embargoes on films when the time frame of when you're allowed to actually put reviews out there and your opinions and whatnot. So it's been a little while since this movie came out. I think we were actually out of state or out of town for sure at that time when this movie came out. So there's been some time since then, and since that time, again, this stuff comes quick, and I already kind of heard some of the same things, and I wasn't really sure how to feel either. I mean, do I always want like a beat for beat exact remake? No, but I mean, hit the main points, and it did until a point. Excuse me. Which was the ending, which kind of just ruins the whole thing. Which I hate to say, but like it just didn't feel the same as the old one, and that's the problem. Is a lot of these things that we keep talking about remakes. It's under a microscope. It's under a lot of scrutiny and comparison because you have something that was already made, and now you're remaking it. So as much as I want to be objective, it's like it's hard to not be comparative. It's hard, but there are certain things that you just don't change about this movie. At least you could still remake it, but keep the core message of the movie. And I think they just went a completely different direction, which didn't land with a lot of people, which makes me wonder who it's for. I mean, I see this little blue fuzzy bastard. I'm like, yeah, he's adorable. He's it's Stitch. I'm like a little 5-year-old, like, look, it's Stitch. Ah, lols, it's Stitch. I'm like, yeah, but then am I supposed, like, as an adult, it's a little different. But yeah, that is Twitter. I don't want that. Get out of here. Okay, so let's see. What's the comments somewhere? God, why am I giving Casey so much fucking airtime? But he is asking the real questions. What kind of rating would you give the movie between 1 and 10? I mean, if anyone who did see it in the comments, let me know. I mean, I don't know what you think. If you could give it a 1 through 5, what would you say?
Well, 1 through 10. 1 through 10, I would probably give it a 6.5. I did enjoy it. It was kind of, the beginning at least, was kind of a beat for beat remake. Probably the first half of the movie was literally exactly the same as the animated movie, which I enjoyed. I did find myself laughing out loud a few times. I had a lot of different things. I did enjoy quite a bit of the first bit of the movie. So that's the rating I would give it, because there was quite a bit that I did enjoy. But I can't give it any higher than that because I knew what was coming, in a way. I knew what was coming at the end. And I knew that I wasn't going to be a huge fan of what was coming at the very end of this movie. So that's where my rating is.
Yeah, apparently my mom agrees. Gives about a 6. I know I said 1 to 5. I'm like, Jesus, I don't know if I can give it a 5. It was a movie. I was debating if I even want to say. I'm like, I don't know if I'm even. I think when we initially walked out and you asked me, I was trying to see if I wanted to articulate saying, like, I was like, I don't even know if I'm whelmed. There's overwhelmed, underwhelmed. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm whelmed. I don't even know where I'm at with this. Like my joke is always like, yeah, you watch Titanic. I'm like, we know what's going to happen. You know the punchline at the end of the story is the ship sinks. So it's the ride there that matters, I guess. But it is a little distracting. Like we knew what was going to happen in the end, and I'm just like kind of already down here with it, where I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna. I mean, there were things I did enjoy, yeah, but I'm like, I don't know if I can enjoy this because I know what the ultimate punchline is going to be, and it's going to feel like whiplash if all of a sudden we're like, no, let's just go with that message. It just felt out of place. Which I guess that does take us right into no, it does not. Into the cast. God damn, you think I've done this for like 5 years? You think I'd know what I'm doing by now? So first point is the cast. Which I mean, we have the core players here and 3 people returning from the other movies and the show supporting roles, which is always really cool to see. So I mean, once again, I have one person to bounce off of. So what did you think of the cast? Did anybody stand out to you? Like, who was your favorite character?
I mean, you think about the obvious, the little girl who played Lilo. I mean, come on, that casting was great. I mean, she was perfect as Lilo. I thought that she did a really good job, and she's got some real acting chops for her age. I don't know how old she actually is. Do you know how old she actually is? I didn't look that up, but I thought she did a really good job, and I thought she had some real acting chops for however old she actually is. I don't actually know. She's supposed to be portraying what is Lilo supposed to be, 6? Yeah, I thought she did an excellent job and really portrayed those emotions while still, really acting like Lilo. I thought she did a really good job. And I think that, I mean, I've got to pick the obvious here.
No, that's fine. I mean, I don't pick the obvious because I'm annoying like that. By the way, the girl who plays Lilo is 8 years old, so not too far off actually. That's still, yeah, she's did a phenomenal job. I'm trying to get another picture. There we go. Yeah, I think they couldn't have got a better Lilo for this movie. She was by far the best part about this because, like, you want those characters to work. That's your, let's go back to it. That's your title. You need Lilo and Stitch to both work. And having Chris Sanders, who was the original voice of Stitch, I mean, yeah, you can't get any better than that. So that I trust that wholeheartedly. Yeah, she blew it out of the water, and I definitely think, again, for being her age, I mean, she's 8 years old and she's already, killing it. I'm 32 and I'll do a takeover again because I fell on a stick the wrong way because I'm annoying like that. God, I don't even know. Let me go through some of these pictures that I don't even. There's really not a big cast of this, to be fair, I guess. I would say, I guess, because I'm also a sucker for the I'll say brain rot, but also the cinematic masterpiece known as The Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers. But obviously, the one who played Tutu, she's amazing because she plays Mrs. Kwan in that movie, and I don't have to explain myself. Just go watch the Cat in the Hat movie. You'll either love it or you'll understand why they don't make live action remakes of Dr. Seuss anymore. So, yeah, no, she's fantastic. I love her being added to the cast. That's the best I can do with not someone who's obvious. Yeah, so not a big cast, but it does work. Yeah, next point's a plot. So I know we're just kind of beating around a broken record here. I wish I had the picture of them using the record, but well, there we go. There's that. I'm glad I found that. That's one of the most iconic shots from this movie. And there's a lot of things like that where you gotta get right, and they do this in the movie where she's locked Nani out of the house and just jam into some Elvis and just like, nah, just leave me here to die. It's classic. But as far as the plot for this movie, does it work for you? I mean, is it close enough to the original? I mean, there's some things that are different. Does it work for you in a way comparatively?
Well, like I said earlier, the beginning of the movie was kind of beat for beat. I think that it worked really well for a really long time, honestly. You know, I think that for a little while I kind of forgot what was coming. Honestly, I kind of just let myself sit back and enjoy what was happening for a little while. I enjoyed, you know, some of the differences. I enjoyed some of them. I didn't. I what I didn't like was how they made David so stupid. That plot point I wasn't a huge fan of, because he wasn't stupid in the original movie, at least not as much as they made him in this one. He was more caring and kind and just a little bit nervous in the original, whereas in this one he just kind of felt dumb. I wasn't a fan of that plot point, but I was a fan of how it felt. The rest of it felt very true to the original, while I continue to beat around the bush about the ending of this movie. I feel like it was good to a point. You know, I mean, again, we have to get to the ending of this movie at some point, so we might as well get there. I liked how it felt like it was going to all wrap up and be okay, and there were moments where it felt like it was going to be, you know, that they were going to be Ohana and family, and then all of a sudden that was like, no, you should, you know, give Lilo up to the state and go to college. And then the thing is, she didn't really give up Lilo to the state. She let David and what was her name? Tutu.
His grandmother.
Yes, David's grandmother. Take Lilo, which is a little bit better than I originally thought was going to happen. Originally, I thought that she just gave Lilo up to the state, and I was like, what on earth are we doing here? So that was a little bit better than what I was expecting, but still not great, in my opinion. But a little bit better than what I was expecting from the spoilers that I had heard. So that plot point didn't work for me at all, really. But it was a little better than what I was expecting. But it still felt kind of like a, whoa, I thought this was all about family and leaving nobody behind, and then all of a sudden we get left behind here. So that's, I just wish the ending was different, because this would have been great, I think. I enjoyed the rest of the movie. I really did, up until that point. So those are kind of my thoughts on the plot. I enjoyed the plot up until the end, really.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Oh, look at that. Our one little cheerleader down there giving us the... we'll have to get... Frank, we'll send you some pom-poms and a tutu or something to... I want to see you kick your leg up in a high kick or something. I can't... Yeah, I was going to say, I kind of agree with my mom. Like, maybe a kid would like it. And yeah, can't do this. I was really hoping, like, please, for the love of God, if anything, do not take out the king. You got to have Elvis in this. Elvis is the staple of like all these movies and the show, so can't leave that out of here. Yeah, as for me, I think it did. Oh, I'm sorry. There's my favorite character, because Pudge is the real one. I forgot I had this picture of Pudge. Pudge controls the weather, so
we love Pudge.
Exactly. He controls the weather, so he's the most important character. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree. I'll go back to David a little bit. Like I kind of agree. It's like, it's not like he's like dumb or clueless. It's just like in the original, it's like he's well-meaning. It's like he is just kind of nervous. He doesn't really get the right time to really say something to Nani, because she's always got like 10 more things on her mind, because obviously she's got dealing with her sister, and now she's got to deal with here's a good picture of that, dealing with this little monstrosity that just came down to earth. So I get it. It's not really like the right time to really try to say something. And he's well-meaning and he's lovable. But in this one, I'm like, oh, of course, like when you first introduced me, he has to make some faux pas and like fumble the ball trying to say some innuendo to her. And it's like, no, that's not what I meant. Anyway, goodbye. And I was like, I tried to find a picture of David, and that's about all I could get. It was like a picture of the dude and the one from the original movie. Because I'm like, that's about as relevant as David was, which is kind of unfortunate. I don't even think he got her a job. Like in the original movie, he ran to her house like as fast as he could to say, like, I think I finally found you a job. Like we can start making things right. And she's like, oh, great. Okay, cool. I think he mentioned like, oh, maybe you should do something you do actually enjoy, which was surfing. So maybe in a way. I would say, and this is one of those iconic things that, like, again, you got to do it right. Some of these things, like I said with Lilo, like laying on the ground with the record player, the two of them enjoying the song, singing to each other on the hammock. The other thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way too is, again, knowing what was going to happen, is I'm like, I feel like I was already kind of being harsh, but I was like, Nani felt a little different in this one. Like maybe I understand that things aren't going the way you'd like them to go, but I'm like, man, she's 6. Like, I mean, in the original, she at least was trying to, when she lost her job, and Lilo was kind of like, oh, I'm sorry, did you lose your job because of me and Stitch? And she just throws her that funny line of like, nah, the manager was a vampire and he wanted me to join his legion of the undead. And of course, Lilo always with the punchline. She's like, oh, I knew it. But it's like, yeah, you're trying to tell a little 6-year-old, like, no, that's not, just you're trying to be real with her, but also like in a way that she would more understand it, even though now she thinks the manager's a vampire, but whatever. I don't know, I felt she was a little harsh in this movie because she just cuts her off in that scene. And I know she's trying to be a realist and be like, this is the reality we're in. And the whole point of, like, I get that, the whole point of Ohana was that no one gets left behind or forgotten. And I didn't really go too much into detail that what happened with her parents. I mean, what we know from the original is that she still had the picture, and she said, like, when she's explaining to Stitch, they went out for a drive and it was rainy and they, got into a car wreck. But I was just like, that's a little harsh for Nani to be like, she's like, well, no one gets left behind. She's like, yeah, well, we were left behind. I was like, damn, dude, they died. It's not like they did it on purpose. I was like, that's a little rude. Lord. Yeah, but it worked for me. There's I'm gonna start bringing stuff from the because I mean the next point I'll kind of get into a little bit here is how does it compare to the original. We got to talk about the other big elephant, or big shark rather, in the room, is that there's no Captain Gantu, which kind of sucks because you can cut him out of the story. It can still work, but I'm also like, but there's other. We'll get into like sequel stuff later, and with the fact that there were more animated movies than a TV show. But if you're planning on doing that, like, and you don't have Gantu in there, I'm like, that kind of defeats the purpose. That was my first big spoiler, was there's no Captain Gantu, which doesn't bode well with me. And the fact that, see, this is God, I'm gonna go into a rant here, and I'm sorry, I'm just gonna keep rambling, but I hate when movies, you almost make the mark and then you still fumble the ball. I'm like, you made these guys look pretty damn close. Jumba and Pleakley. Jesus, I can't talk. A good picture segue right into it is boom, right from the animated. That's pretty damn close. I'm like, you nailed their look. And then for 90% of the movie, all of a sudden they were just, well, there's one where he takes his disguise off, but you just have Zach Galifianakis and oh Lord, what is his name? Billy Magnuson, who I love. They were probably the best part of this movie because they were just funny, just comedically. I know I have a picture of you two. Where did it go? Oh, there he is. Yeah, there's Billy Magnuson, who again, almost
fashion sense unmatched, by the way.
So I'm saying, like, a fashion icon. Like, I think if anyone was like the closest to like their alien counterpart, it was at least Billy Magnuson doing playfully some justice here. But I'm like, you nailed the look. I'm like, but then you just have Jumba like talking like Zach Galifianakis, and I'm like, that just feels lazy. I'm like, I don't know what, you still dropped the ball. It just doesn't work. It doesn't. I know they asked him like, why didn't you do a Russian accent? He's like, well, I just couldn't or something. I'm like, dude, you're an actor. Just do it. What kind of answer is that? Like, oh, I just couldn't do it. I'm like, yeah, you could, man. Plenty of people do that. I mean, they nailed the Grand Councilwoman like to a T. No complaints there. Well, there's that picture. Because when I first saw, Zach Galifianakis, I'm glad I found this picture. That right there was my exact fucking face. And like, here, let's see if I can match cut it. Where I'm just like, what in the what are you doing right now? Like I said, by comparison, I'm like, yeah, you nailed the look, but maybe it's that weird thing when you hear a voice come out of somebody, you're like, I did not expect that to come out of you. And then yeah, the ending too. After all this, I'm like, the whole point was to still be a family, and no matter what, we're gonna stick together and still make this work. I know it all kind of kids movied itself into like, oh yeah, the Grand Council one definitely knows Cobra Bubbles, which didn't really happen, which also was kind of a
You can't just trust me, bro, into that. That bothered me so badly at the end of the movie where the Grand Councilwoman comes down out of the ship and Cobra Bubbles is like, she's like, how am I going to be sure that you won't tell anybody that aliens exist or something along those lines? And basically Cobra Bubbles just goes, trust me, bro. And she's like, okay, good enough for me. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? In what world is that enough? In what world is that enough for anybody? In the original movie, it's basically spelled out that they'd met before. Like, they knew each other. Like, that makes so much sense. They already knew each other. They had already met. He knew about aliens already. Why couldn't you just do that? It's not that hard. That's like one sentence. Instead, you go, trust me, bro. Where do you get off? What? That doesn't make any sense. That bothered me a lot for some reason. I don't have an explanation for why that bothered me so much, but you can't just leader of a bunch of aliens and somebody from the CIA. You can't just trust me, bro. No.
Yeah, I agree. I think we could definitely say he's Cobra Bubbles is part of the Men in Black, because like Tex, we just need the little mind neuralizer and just kind of forget that it was ever there, and just let that go. Yeah, because that is kind of the hilarious full circle. Again, if we're talking about comparisons to the original, like that was kind of funny that like you didn't really know that. Excuse me, that Cobra Bubbles, like what his whole angle was, and then like the Grand Councilwoman does come down to him in the original movie and say like, oh yeah, CIA back in 1970s, and she's like, oh yeah, you had hair then. It's just a quick, like Frank always said, you're one line of dialogue away, and you hilariously bring that full circle with him saying, yeah, I convinced an alien species that mosquitoes weren't endangered species themselves. And I'm like, that's so funny, because how like that was the whole point of like Pleakley going, is because like he was like the one who told them, hey, whoa, Earth is a protected wildlife sanctuary. We're rebuilding the population of the mosquitoes. Which, by the way, Pleakley, I think you've well overdone your job. Can you take about another 3 billion of them with you next time? Because I definitely didn't steal that quote from Cinema Sins, but that's a little ridiculous because that would be our luck. Yeah. What was that picture again of him? Yeah, where it's like, I kind of get it, but then I'm like, well, then why did we bother with having him here? Because, I mean, the other thing is, I have a picture of her somewhere. We do have the actual social worker, played by Tia Carrere, which, I mean, there's people that can get it at any age, and I'll just say that. If you've seen True Lies, she was the, what was her? Juno Skinner in that movie with Jamie Lee Curtis, which Texas' favorite actress in Hollywood, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. In that movie, she was the one of the villains, and she was also the original voice actress for Nani. So that was one of the cool things to have her back. But I'm like, okay, so we already have the social worker angle. I'm like, that was kind of the funny thing about his cover was that he said he was a social worker, even though I love that you made that your quote, like your knuckles say Cobra. Have you ever killed anyone? We're getting off the subject. I'm like, what? This guy, like, what the hell? He's probably one of the funnier parts of the original. Why you couldn't just have Ving Rhames be him again, I don't know. Or Terry Crews, because Terry Crews can play goofy but also intimidating. Yeah, whatever. Oh, yeah, there's something else that bugs me. This guy. I don't. One of the longest running gags of this movie series and TV show is this poor guy always losing his ice cream to something to do with their shenanigans every time. And I mean, I couldn't find a picture of the Islander. I'm like, okay, this Islander keeps losing his icy, but instead of the tourist losing his mint ice cream all the time, I don't know. Small changes. I don't know. It's just a little annoying.
I do miss Lilo's fascination with tourists. I always liked that angle because it felt authentic, because I know that oftentimes Native Hawaiians aren't such a huge fan of tourists in Hawaii. I always liked that angle because I know that there was a deleted scene in the original movie about that, about how the tourists were like taking over Hawaii and how they're not like a huge fan of that happening. So like that felt like a good part of that, and I feel like that kind of got erased in this movie a little bit because it was there in the original movie. So that was part of why it bothered me a little bit. But I'm not a native Hawaiian, obviously, so I can't speak on that. But just knowing that that deleted scene was in the original movie about that also was just an interesting point.
Yeah, it's instead of the outside looking in, it's she's on the inside looking out. It is kind of funny to have that other perspective. I don't mind that it was a little less. It's that it was more focused on the native people of Hawaii. I mean, there is the kind of that twist where like we keep seeing. I did have a picture of it, like every time that Lilo keeps going and sneaking into like the resorts and like chilling in the hot tub with Stitch.
I did like that.
Yeah, I thought I had a picture of them. Yeah, but it's funny that she was always kind of just sneaking into the hot tubs and the resorts and going on the beaches where all the tourists were. And I love that, like when they're sitting in there with Stitch, and you can hear some guard like off camera, like, Lilo, I can see you. You're not supposed to be. And he's like, oh crap, and she has to leave. As she doesn't live here, and has access to plenty of places. I'm sure she goes places that people don't even probably know about. It was kind of funny, but it wasn't really there.
I'd almost forgotten about that.
Yeah, I wondered if that was maybe kind of the hint, the joke towards it, that like she keeps kind of spending time around where the tourists hang out a lot. Yeah. Okay. I know I had a better picture. I wish these pictures weren't so damn small and I could see them. Because I'm like, yeah, this guy doesn't look like a member of the Men in Black. Like I said, he's going to come down here and just erase your mind. But I don't necessarily disagree that I'm like, yeah, there'd be some government involvement and this is your guy. But I like that Cobra Bubbles was a little more involved in the show, or I'm sorry, in the movies in the show. And because like he was also, like you said, he knew the aliens. That's just the funny, like full circle for his character. But yeah, it just wasn't there. Yeah. Yeah, I guess how does it compare to the original? I mean, we've kind of said that a few times, I suppose. There's like I said, there's this. I couldn't find like a great picture, but like the iconic shot from the original movie of the three of them surfing. There's like I said, there's beats of, and obviously another fashion icon. He always has those awesome little red sunglasses on.
I loved his floaties in the last picture. His little floaties. Where does this rank with the other live action Disney remakes? Oh man, that's a hard question. It's definitely better than Snow White. That's for sure. I didn't even see Snow White, but I can tell you that this one's better. Trying to think of what other ones there were.
Oh no, I'm sorry for all the awkward stuff. I didn't know what the hell the other ones were. I'm honestly having a fucking hard time over here.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what other live action Disney remakes there were. There was Snow White. That's the big glaring one.
Oh. Maybe not this year. I think that was the big one this year, which again, I was gonna say this one's it's not that at least. I know like it's Snow White was it was a movie, it was made, but there's other things and factors to it that really brought it down really far because, you know, Rachel Zegler can't keep her mouth shut, but that's beside the point. I don't know. It is a weird fatigue that we're getting with these live action remakes. I was gonna say like another one would be, and it's kind of a weird controversial thing to say that it's live action, but like the Lion King ones, I'm like they're not live action, but I'll look some up.
I was gonna say, do those really count? I didn't see any of those, so I wouldn't be able to compare them because I didn't want to.
Let's see. Oh. Okay. Because I forgot about some of these. 2023, we did Peter Pan and Wendy. And if you didn't realize that, I don't think anyone else did. Irrelevant. 2023 also, wildly enough, was the Little Mermaid remake. I kind of almost forgot about that until just now. But I also didn't see. That's not live action, or it is live action. It wasn't adapted. Like there was Mufasa, but I mean, you know, there's two different so-called live actions of Lion King.
I completely forgot about the Little Mermaid live action remake.
So a lot of us. Oh well, the one that kicked it all off, I think, in 2020 there was Mulan. So there's that.
I completely forgot about that one too. So clearly, these films are not memorable. Is the answer to your question?
Yeah,
they're not memorable. And I'm not a movie buff like the other lovely people who frequent this channel are, but you know, I feel like I'm going to remember this one a little bit more than I would remember these other ones. A live action remake of Aladdin. Was there a live action remake of Aladdin?
I'm sitting here looking at it, I'm like, yeah.
There was?
2019, it was Aladdin. With Will
I don't
Smith.
Look, I don't remember 2019. That was before COVID. I don't have any memories from before COVID. Those memories are gone.
That also means you didn't remember in 2019 there was a live action remake of Kim Possible.
I forgot about that. Oh my gosh. There was a live action remake of Kim Possible. I definitely didn't see that.
No.
Was Will Smith in it?
Will Smith was the genie.
That's right. Was this before or after the slap? When did Will Smith slap Chris Rock?
Slapping.
The slapping. When was that?
No,
that's crazy. Clearly, these live action remakes are not memorable for me, at least.
2022.
22. Okay, so it was before.
Yeah. Fuck Jada Pinkett Smith. Her son's friend did. Hey, so. Oh my God! There's my joke. There's my one.
Nice.
Let me get Will Smith slap off my Google search here on my tabs. Yeah, man, shit. That means I lost my my search there of all the ones. Maybe it's because this is the most recent one that just came out. I kind of agree with you. I feel like I will remember this one a little better because it was at least a little bit more faithful to it, to its original, source material. There's something. I mean, there's the big change, but I'm like, at least it's, I mean, Aladdin was actually pretty close. I think the only thing about that was, you're filling some big shoes with Robin Williams genie against Will Smith's genie. I'm like, you're not going to be the same. You're not even nowhere close. It's kind of unfair to. I mean, you do the best you can, but I'm like, I didn't mind that one. I mean, it kind of basically did the same story. That was decent. I still hesitate to call the Lion King one a live action, but I mean, visually, in terms of, I guess, the CGI that you're doing, I'm like, right, but what are you doing with all these other movies where it doesn't seem to work? I mean, we've had better looking stuff in like 2002 than we do 2022. For fuck's sake. That'd be interesting. Cars and Texas, Cars and Toy Story are the only Disney that I like that I'll happily go see live action versions of either. I mean,
a live action version of Cars feels like a horror movie. It's like JJ the Jet Plane, but for cars. Do you remember JJ the Jet Plane?
Yeah, because it's nightmare fuel. It's like we might as well just do a remake of Thomas the Tank Engine. Jesus Christ. For all you old millennials like ourselves. Cars, yeah, I don't know. That would just be a Toy Story. I think you could maybe.
Toy Story, sure, but Cars, that feels like that'd be scary.
Yeah, Toy Story you could do. I'm like tunnel vision now trying to imagine that, and I feel like you could do it. I was gonna make a joke because again, for all the older millennials, do you remember Toy Soldiers? Small Soldiers. Yeah. Kids today will never remember who the leader of the Gorgonites is. And no, I'm not going to tell you. Go watch the movie for yourself. That was one of the few movies where I actually enjoyed the bad guys more than I did the good guys, because the commandos were some of the most hilarious characters I've ever seen on film. These like homicidal, like military, like type, like Arlie Ermy type toys that are the military ones, and I'm like, why are they so damn funny? I'm like, why do I want to root for them? They're insane. But yeah, still a good 90s movie. Oh yeah, see, he knows what I'm talking about. Small Soldiers. Yeah, it's an amazing movie. Now that we've oh, hello. Okay, kind of to the original. We've talked about some other live action remakes. I don't know. Hopefully it'll hold some more ground. Like I said, I didn't bother with the Peter Pan and Wendy because that's about the 45th time we've remade, Peter Pan, whatever. Snow White, I'm not even gonna give it the time of day. I saw Aladdin. It was good, but again, it's not the same. As Robin Williams said, you'll never have a friend like me. And just for that, I'm gonna do it to myself.
Emotional damage.
It's not the same. Oh Lord. Okay, that's a trivia that I keep going back to. But before that, have any of you guys seen the live action remakes that they've done over the last, God, I don't know. How long has Disney been doing this? Like the last 15 years, it feels like. Is this any better, or what do you think about the other ones? Let us know. Point 4 is there a possibility of a sequel? Well, that's the interesting one. That also is the reason why the other 2/3 of my fucking pictures are all the ones from the other animated movies in the TV show, because I have some thoughts about that. But what do you think? Do you think there's a sequel possibility with this live action remake?
I think so. I'm pretty certain that they're probably going to do a sequel. I think that
because kids.
Yeah. I think that this one has done probably well enough to warrant a sequel. I don't see why not. I don't know. I think that he's cute enough to have, he's not horrifying like the original Sonic. Y'all remember the original Sonic?
I'm trying not to. I was trying to find a picture of this.
Stitch looks good. He looks good in this movie, and I think that the movie was good enough to warrant another one. So yeah, there's plenty of source material.
Oh God, yes. I was trying to find the one of him just kind of sitting, kind of like the one in the background of our thing here. But I'm like, at least he looks accurate. He's still adorable, even if he's kicking over sandcastles. Because I'm like, we all, excuse me, we're all remember, Sonic, and how we bullied the internet, collectively bullied an entire studio to make him look correct. Because I don't know what kind of nightmare fuel they were trying to cook up with that version of Sonic the Hedgehog, but dear God, I'm glad we got to where we were. And maybe that was kind of a wake-up sign to that there are good things about the collective internet mob that can make some good things happen. So thankful for that. But sometimes it can't. It's a double-edged sword. But I'm glad in this case it worked out because like at least it's Stitch. He's like one of the icons that out of Disney. I'm like, you say Mickey Mouse, you say this is Disney, but you know what I mean. You say Pikachu. You know who these characters are. This is one that has staying power. Which is good. That all coming from one idea of some guy who's like, hey, what if an alien crash landed on Earth? So thank you, Chris Sanders, for that. I think so too, unfortunately, because all Disney sees is money go up, money plus side. Good. Keep doing. Which is verbatim what I'm pretty sure they actually say. All the stuffy suits. I don't dear God. Grogu versus Stitch. There could be only one like Highlander. Yeah. I mean Grogu is also Disney now, so although Grogu is a Mandalorian now, apparently, so I don't know about that. Stitch is indestructible.
I think this also opens the door for a new generation of teenage girls to be obsessed with Stitch again. There was like this era of teenage girls just being obsessed with Stitch. I think we've opened another wave of it. Probably. Just want to throw that out there.
I must have missed all those teenage girls that were obsessed with Stitch because, okay.
It was a big thing.
I believe it. I was going to say, oh, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm bitches. Because I definitely... I'm like, because I was very steeped in this lore of the other movies. I kind of forgot how many other movies there were. After the original one from 2002, there was a sequel, Stitch Has a Glitch. I don't remember really what was after that. I want to say it was Stitch the movie, because then it sets up the TV show, which had 2 seasons and about 400 episodes in each season. Because I was like, I swear it was longer than that. But that was in the time when apparently you could get like 40 episodes in one season instead of 5 episodes in one season every 10 years. I'm fucking looking at you, Stranger Things. What kind of fucking release schedule is that? Anyway, go look that up if you want to be pissed off. You're not going to spend the holidays with your family. Apparently, you're going to spend it right there in Hawkins, Indiana, because they said fuck your Thanksgiving, fuck your Christmas, and fuck your New Year's. I'm getting off topic, and I'm just still mad about that. Sorry. But in terms of a sequel, and then they had Leroy and Stitch. Sorry, that's where I was getting, because most of these pictures now, if this doesn't tell you something, there's. I'm glad I found this picture, and I'm going to bring up the thing before I keep, stealing people's art. Where's it at? Oh dear God, now I got to find it.
Another thing I was going to say while you're looking for that, the teenage girls obsessed with Stitch almost leveled like the Cookie Monster pajama pants girls. If you remember those girls, if you were like a millennial like we are, like they were almost the same girl. I just remember that really vividly for some reason. Like there was like that obsession, that same type of girl. I don't know. That was just a thing back in the day. Don't know why, but it was awesome. Did you find the picture yet? Anyways, I think that there is so much potential for a sequel for this. I mean, look at all of these guys.
Uh-huh.
I think we've got Angel on the very left-hand side here, and then we've got Ruben.
65.
You
better know that one.
One of them's Leroy, and then one of them is
627.
627. Yeah, and they made how many? Four movies in total for the animated series, and then there were the 2 TV series that were, like you said, a bunch of episodes long. And I watched that TV show like crazy growing up. The basis of the TV show was basically a bunch of the other experiments were, I forget exactly how it works. Like they were, like they crash landed into Hawaii,
well,
or something.
Jumbo's, yeah, I was trying to find this. I was trying to find that picture of all of them, and I had to go to the renaming because it was Gaia Corridon, Eden. I don't know, on DeviantArt who made this picture. I'm not some people's artwork, but that was the best I had to have all of them there. Yeah, there was. That's what I'm saying is like I would like to have sequels, and like you said, there is a massive amount of lore and other experiments because we know Stitch is number 626, right? So you have that many to play with. Now, obviously, we didn't see all those in the show, but as you said, yeah, we have right here. This is the nice order of it, of a string of them. There's 624, 625, 626, as we know, 627, and Leroy is actually 629. I'm glad I have this one picture, and I've been saying this a few times where I'm like, I remember this being one of the, as a little kid, being like one of the jaw-droppiest like cliffhangers. Yeah, what happened was all the experiments are in those little balls that had the number on them for what experiment it is. And I can't remember what happened at the end of, I think it was Stitch the movie that sets up the show where the ship crashes, yeah, and all of the pods get just thrown all over Hawaii into the water. They're reactivated. Now they're all over the island. So the show was them going around each episode and trying to find each of the experiments and then finding their purpose, because a lot of them were built for destruction, at least the 600 series. And we're going to get deep lore. The 600 series are the ones that are like the Doomsday ones, the ones built for destruction, like Stitch. And then there's ones that are just like inconveniences, like the Zero series, like the first 100 or so. They all had different, one specific thing that they would do. I wish I had a picture of Sparky. I didn't get a picture of him, but he was the first one they figured out. They put him in the lighthouse because the lighthouse didn't work anymore. So they hooked up Sparky, which, as you can tell, he's like a little skinnier, like yellow version of Stitch. He has his two little antennas have like electricity flowing through him. They hook him up to the lighthouse, and boom, now he has his purpose. But one of the biggest like cliffhangers was this fucking shot right here, where Jumbo goes. They're already mad at him for making a 627, which I think his name was Evil or some incarnation of the word evil. But Jumbo goes back to his ship, and then and I'm going to do my best because I'm going to do better than Zach Galifianakis. But he goes back into his ship and he goes, "Well, maybe I'll have better luck next time." Sticks this ball in there and 628, and we're like, "What is that? What does that mean? Who is that?" Well, you never see it because then you jump right to Leroy, who is 629, which was the last one that Jumbo ever made. Not to obviously be confused with 627 because they obviously don't look exactly alike. Kind of dropped. I mean, with as creative as they were with all these experiments, I think he kind of dropped the ball in these last two. I mean, they're kind of just the same. That's like the Hulk thing where it's like it's the same thing but red. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
However, Leroy was actually kind of terrifying. Just like fluffier version of him, and he's just more unhinged. Obviously, the real OG is Ruben. Like, come on. all Ruben wants to do is just make sandwiches. And he's like, apparently he is literally just Stitch, the same powers, the same everything. But his problem is he's just lazy. He just doesn't care. And I love that about him. All he wants to do is just make sandwiches. And he's really good at it. And that's his thing. This is where I get kind of like with sequel territory, because I'm like, you have all these other experiments. But the thing was, not only did Jumba and Pleakley stay behind on Earth, but so did Gantu. And Ruben hangs out with Gantu for pretty much most of the show. It's like in his ship. So you'd have to kind of backtrack here a little bit on Gantu if you're, where I don't think you're going to do that, unless you had to have some other storyline for Ruben. I don't know. And then you obviously have 624, because you always got to have a girl variant of just it's just Stitch again, but pink. Just kind of a love interest for Stitch, which is always nice. I don't know if she teeters on being bad or not, but like,
you can tell she's a girl because she's pink, guys. Can you tell she's a girl? She's pink.
Unnecessarily gendered. This is one of my favorite shots of that, because like that, if that does not sum up their relationship of Gantu and Ruben, I'm like, he's just always, not only does he have to deal with Stitch like just giving him hell all the time, he's got this dude just on his shoulder all the time. Someone else that was in, I believe he was in the show, I don't know if he was in the movies, but was also Dr. Hamsterville, who's also kind of a interesting protagonist for the show. I don't remember what his deal was. I think he also like a mutated, well, he's a hamster, but also kind of obsessed with these experiments. I don't know if you remember, probably better than me on that.
I'm trying to remember. I think he was an alien, actually. I'm pretty sure he was an alien that was also obsessed with the experiments and wanted to capture them also, if I remember correctly.
Wait, I think some of these things keep saying that like Jumba had like funding from Hamsterville, I think, in some points. Let's see. Dr. Hamsterville is, I'm German, I can say the umlaut. Hamsterville is the main antagonist of the Lilo and Stitch franchise, or one of, excuse you, appearing in the 2003 film movie Stitch the Movie. Okay, so it wasn't a movie. Megalomaniacal former partner of Jumba. Okay. Who assisted in the creation of the illegal genetic experiments. Contrasted his diminutive size, Hamsterville is cunning and ruthless. Yeah, I was like, I remember I think he had a connection to Jumba, and like he was like a former partner of his. And they were saying that I think Leroy was one of the ones that he like didn't help him with, so that's just Jumba going off on his own, going off his own rails there, just with no help from Hamsterville. But yeah, I guess if you're, you kind of got like a, not Tim Apple, fucking Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak situation there, and you for the really old millennials, maybe even the Gen Xers, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to explain that one. But yeah, he would be another interesting antagonist. Like I said, I couldn't have sat here and I'd have a list like a CVS receipt long of how many other experiments there are, because good Lord, there was a lot. I don't know who you are. Hello, Masters. Okay, we're talking about Master of Puppets, which, I mean, I like Stranger Things. I like Eddie Munson. Anywho, yeah, that's what I think about a sequel. Like, there's a lot to play with here, but I'm not sure if they're really ready to do that, because, like I said, there's characters he left out. I don't know.
It'd be interesting to see if they follow any of the other movies' plots, or if they travel off the beaten path. What'll be interesting. If they decide to follow the other movies, if they decide to follow the TV show, or if they decide to screw all that and just go, with the path that they have laid out in front of themselves. Because they have laid out a path in front of themselves with the ending that they chose. They chose college for Nani with a portal. They chose a portal doesn't make everything better, by the way. I meant to say
only if it's the actual video game Portal.
Good game. they've left Lilo with Grandma and David. So that makes for a slightly different ending and a different starting out point than any of the animated series or movies. So that'll be interesting to see what they do with the sequel, because it doesn't leave things off in the place where it needs to be left off for any of the animated sequels or TV show to pick up from. So that's my kind of, I kind of wonder about that, if they do make a sequel, where they're going to pick up from.
Yeah, something else they left out. I'm realizing there's some pictures I didn't use here. They didn't do the ugly duckling storyline. And also, like, that followed up with that. It's not a great picture, but it's like, if you see it, you know. That is an absolute goddamn gut punch to your emotions.
Emotional damage.
How this movie was for kids, because oh my good god. Because I mean, I think it might be one of the first times Stitch does say something like in English. He just yells out that he's lost. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, they still had that, like, where he just kind of sulks back to the dog pound, but Jesus, man. Oh, that one hurt. Yeah. But a lot of lore, a lot of things they could do here, but I don't know if that, if it ended up being as expansive and as successive as like the show was, because the thing that sucks about that is, I mean, you got an animated character. I mean, you can always have them be 6, 7 years old. I mean, this girl's not going to be 8 the rest of her life. So that I'm saying there's a lot. So I'm like, you might have another movie or so in her, but then, then you're going to have to go some other direction, because you can't keep that long of a show going or something and not have her, we're in a Stranger Things situation here where she's going to be in college herself by the time you end like a show or something. So
you're just not going to let the Stranger Things go, are you?
No, I'm not letting that go. Like, I'm still mad that we now we know, but I'm still mad about it. You should have ended this shit like 5 years ago. Damn, guys. Just bring back Eddie Munson. You know what you have to do, but I don't know if you have the strength to do it. Anyway, I'm going to segue into trivia because I don't have any other better way to say that. Who we got first? Oh, okay, I mentioned that. I have a picture for that. Boom. Tia Carrere is, of course, the original voice of Nani from the 2002 Lilo and Stitch, and in this movie is cast as Mrs. Kikoa, a new character who is the social worker. Let's see. Yeah, I already mentioned Chris Sanders. He's Stitch. He's Stitch through and through. So, and this was his idea all those years ago. So, I mean, I kind of like that. Let's see. There's a picture of him somewhere. Wish these pictures weren't so small. I'm glad I labeled them all so I could find them. There we go. Good Lord. Ving Rhames, who played Cobra Bubbles in the original film, was reportedly offered a cameo role in this film, but had to decline due to scheduling conflicts with Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which ended up being released the same day as this film. So, in essence, I will sum that up for you. It's Tom Cruise's fault. There's my fuck you, Tom Cruise, for the day. Am I wrong?
Screw Scientology.
Yeah, screw it before it screws you, because...
Ain't that the truth?
Maybe we should have listened to... Oh my god, what's her name? Leah Remini. She put that shit out there, and I'm so glad she did. Let's see. I am not. Oh Jesus! There's so many words there. I'm not even gonna try and say that. That made sense. Shut up. You know what I meant. We have again Chris Sanders, the only original actor to reprise his role as Stitch, while the other characters are portrayed by new actors, or they're people from prior movies that are in supporting roles. A lot of these are like too long. I don't really feel like reading. I'm sorry, but I know it's a lot of work, man.
Let's do trivia. Just kidding. It's too long.
Too long to read. Isn't that what the kids say? Well, a lot of times Frank gives me these notes and he just puts trivia, and then I'm like, and then there's a whole section there where it says trivia, a colon, blank. I'm like, okay, pick something out. Good lord. Oh, here's another good one. Let's get that one. Cobra Bubbles. Where in the hell? Oh. Courtney B. Vance revealed that his family made him take on the role of Cobra Bubbles because his twin children were scared of Stitch and the animated aliens, so they never watched the original film or any of the sequels. That's sad. Vince said that taking on the role of Cobra would allow his children to face their fears. Fucking dad of the year right there. Nice. I like it. Oh, I can do David. This is a deep cut right here because we get the joke. The night before filming was supposed to begin, a trailer containing $200,000 worth of costumes for the first 3 weeks of filming was destroyed by a fire. The Honolulu Police Department is investigating it as a first-degree arson. Hawaii has an unfortunate history of arson targeting the local film industry. That's really sad. And my joke there was, one of the first times we're introduced to David is like, David, did you catch on fire again? Poor David, he's trying, man.
I wonder why. That's really odd. That's common. That they're a target for arson.
I don't know. It's not like you think like, oh, this is like a place where fires, happen a lot. Maybe they do, but it's like I don't know how you still. Arson investigation is a wild fucking science. Like, you'll see a piece of ash that's slightly grayer than the rest, and they're like, I know who did it. It was this motherfucker here, and this is how it happened. I'm like, are you a goddamn Jedi? It's ridiculous, is what I'm saying. I'm over exaggerating it, but not really. But I don't know. It's like you can't get away with that, man. Like, there are people that investigate this stuff, and they'll know like this was on purpose, or they can tell. I'm not going to give you the time of day because you're talking about Tom Cruise. Anyhow. Oh, I was looking for a picture of them surfing. Okay. While telling Stitch about Nani's past as a surfing champion, Lilo mentions that Nani's room used to have a bunch of trophies. The original movie has a scene that takes place in Nani's room in which dedicated viewers have spotted said trophies. I think I would have liked the Easter egg from the original film that in Nani's room, she happens to have a poster of the movie Mulan, which I think was the movie that came out right before that. The animated movie, which is kind of funny. See, here's what could have been. You stop messing with stuff. According to the director, Dean Fleischer Camp, Pleakley dressed as a woman to blend in with the humans, like the original, almost made it in. And in fact, I'm going to go back to this because a freaking icon. In a TikTok video responding to fan comments on the trailer, Fleischer addressed the burning question, where is Pleakley's dress? His answer was simple and revealing. I tried, he says. Did you? Sorry. He says before showing off a never-before-seen concept art of Pleakley in a vibrant floral dress. The art clearly shows the team at one point planning to bring the moment to life, but it was ultimately cut from the final version. Cowards.
Would have been incredible.
Yeah, you had like one scene like where you had like a mesh like shirt on with like a big flower in the center. I'm like, you're getting there. You're getting there.
I loved that outfit. I would wear that outfit. That outfit was great.
Oh yeah. Well, the first trailer received 158 million online views in the first 24 hours. That's insane. Oh, I always love these. Let's get a picture of Stitch being a menace, which is somewhere in here. Boom. Where is it? The film was under the working title of Bad Dog, referencing how mischievous Stitch gets when he's adopted as a dog. More amusingly, to add to this, the production company established just for this film. Production company established just for this film was named Blue Koala Pictures after his resemblance to the marsupial. I mean, yeah, I think we'd go with a weird blue koala first before we believe that it's a dog, which has always been a long running joke. That how does anyone believe this thing is a dog? Sure. Where's that one of them in the? You're talking to myself because I'm like I got my hand on the buttons. There we go. While I wish I had the picture of it, but while Stitch is holding the soda gun up to Lilo, some of Stitch's lines are taken straight from the scene in which, in Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch has a glitch when he describes his nightmare to Lilo in that film with a bit of clipping to shorten it. Yeah, because that opens with like a nightmare sequence of Stitch like actually just being destructive and like in the process even knocks Lilo over onto the ground. It was all just a dream. Oh, good. I can. This is a whole. Oh, you know what? No, I was just going to read the first line just to give him a middle finger, but now I want to read it. This is me. This is the only one you get of me reading. I was going to shorten it too. Zach Galifianakis admitted that he didn't give much thought to joining the cast of the live-action Disney, and I just kind of quit caring because I'm like, yeah, you didn't give much thought to any of it, did you? Fucker. Anyway, he humorously reflected on his reaction to the director's initial invitation by asking, "What are the hours?" Because he's a funny guy still. Not since The Hangover. Sorry. At the time, he was unaware of the 2002 animated children's movie. He accepted the role of Jumba, Stitch's evil genius creator, without knowing anything about the character. Initially, he noted to the director Camp, who wanted him to play. Wait, what? He noted to the director Camp wanted him to play Pleakley, Jumba's sidekick. Okay. However, 2 days later, the director approached him again, asking if he would portray Jumba instead. Galifianakis responded without hesitation, "Dean, I don't care. Whatever you need me to do, what will I do to get into one of these characters more deeply? It doesn't matter." Apparently it does, because you didn't even try. I'm going to keep beating you over the head with that.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious he didn't really care. Like, it's pretty obvious. They didn't put much oomph into the voice acting anyways. So.
And like you do know there's dialect coaches, man. Like this is a thing. Like I don't know. I think it would have been funnier if like because I'm fine with the human disguises thing. I'm like, again, yeah, it is kind of hilarious that you have these two aliens that obviously stick out, but like they throw on a Hawaiian shirt and some sunglasses, they throw on a dress and a wig, and it's like no one really cares. I'm like, it's the suspension of disbelief. Just let it go. But I'm like, okay, I don't mind the human cloning like disguise thing. I'm like, but still do something with it. I think I even noticed something that Brooding Gamer told me about Pleakley, Billy Magnuson. He made the human version of him talk with like a little bit of a lisp because I was like, oh my god, that's right. Pleakley has two tongues as an alien, so him having like one big tongue in his mouth now as a human would kind of mess up his speech. I'm like, see, he at least tried something. You got Zach Galifianakis' tubby little ass out there with a portal gun. He just doesn't look right. Now I'm just being mean because I don't care. There's one you might like. This is the fourth live-action Disney remake. I forgot about this. I think this would technically count as a Disney remake. For an original actor returning from the original film, reprising a role. Jim Cummings as Winnie the Pooh and Tigger for Christopher Robin. That's one. Frank Welker as Abu from The Cave of Wonders, Aladdin. And, of course, the late and always great James Earl Jones as Mufasa for The Lion King. I mean, yeah, it's Mufasa. It's Darth Vader, man. I kind of forgot about Winnie the Pooh. That is technically, I think, Disney, so.
Yeah, that's definitely Disney.
Oh my god. Shock and awe. Lilo and Stitch was set in Hawaii. The live-action film is being shot on location in Hawaii. I guess to be fair, sometimes you're like, oh, is this actually shot in New York City? No, it's in Los Angeles. what? Like Friends was not actually shot in New York City. I hate to break everyone's heart, but I guess that is kind of cool. That seems like an obvious choice, although I know it's not always easy to do that, to do something on location like that. But that is cool. Ooh. I don't have a picture of David from the movie, but I can get this one from the show because it is the right one. David's necklace has Maui's hook on it, as seen in Disney's Moana. Because it's all connected. I feel like it was just a fishing hook in that, and they were like, "Hey, that looks like Maui's thing." I still hope you're not considering making that live action movie because it's been too soon. Okay, I mean, I didn't actually know how old Nani was supposed to be. Apparently, Sydney Elizabeth Agudong, Agudong, I can't say these names. I'm so sorry. Was 24 years old during the filming of this movie, 6 years older than her character Nani from the movie, the original movie. I kind of wonder if she was in like her late teens or something. I wasn't really sure how old she was supposed to be. Okay. Stop trying to justify Zach Galifianakis being a human in this movie. I'm sorry. That was such a deep cut. I'm like, I don't know who this person is. He looks like somebody who was the writer director of the original film. Okay. He's also some guy with a dad bod and a fucking goatee and a Hawaiian shirt. I'm being so mean. I'm sorry. I'm just a jaded millennial. Oh, Courtney. This is Courtney B. Vance's first Disney film. That's the guy who played Bubbles in this movie. That's cool. He did it for his kids, so could be behind that. Oh wow, this set the record for the biggest opening weekend for a live-action animated film, surpassing Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Well, that's not a hard bar to beat. So, Detective Deadpool wasn't really in my radar, so it's just Ryan Reynolds being Pikachu. It doesn't work. Oh, here we go. There's something because I noticed that what I noticed little things like this in some of the promotional material. They depict Lilo in her classic red floral dress, although she never actually does wear the dress in the film herself. Instead, her main outfit is the red floral shirt with the overalls. And honestly, I think it still works. You still see the the source material coming through with the floral shirt.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I didn't really pay much attention to that, to the outfits necessarily.
It still works. I mean, I think it still works. I think. Oh yeah, because I was more so worried about what was this man going to start wearing. That's.
I liked his outfits. I thought they were still pretty good. I think they were still pretty floral and feminine in a way, even though they had their, I mean, he's still dressed in men's clothing, but it was still flamboyant in a way.
You're teasing all of us. Like I said, this is your Earth expert, and that is part of the hilarity of like Pleakley, is that like that's the direction he chooses to go. Because like I said, the odd couple who I mean, like really these two. I'm telling you what, some of the heart and soul of this animated series and the movies and shit. Okay, well, there's 11 more. What do we have? As if I have read all those. Oh wow! To portray a social worker, this is interesting. Tia Carrere consulted with the director's mother, who is an actual social worker. I mean, okay, yeah, learn right from the best. Oh wow! Like I didn't know that the portal gun that Stitch uses to trap Jumba is a reference to the video game Portal. Is it really just because it's a portal gun? It doesn't mean every single thing is Portal. I know we mentioned that game. Jumba speaks an American accent. Yeah, I'm still mad about it. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. Unlike the original film portraying Nani and Lilo's parents having died recently by the film's events, their parents seem to have been dead for a few years by this remake's timeline, with Lilo hiding her grief through her relentless fun and loving optimism. Yeah, everything she did it with passion. And wow, somebody has eyes. Nani can be seen wearing a Purple Rain Prince t-shirt. Yeah, we saw that. Okay. I understand music too. Well, again, I think we've just about beaten this space horse to death. So that's about all we got. And so if you can give me your final thoughts on this movie, would you recommend it or would you say stay away?
I think I would recommend it. Maybe not in theaters. Maybe wait till it comes out on streaming. I mean, it's not a necessity in theaters, I don't think. I enjoyed it. I think it was a fun watch. It's one of those get your popcorn and sit and enjoy it kind of movies. Don't take it too seriously. It's a kid's movie, you know. If you're expecting the same heartwarming ending, don't. Because it's not there. But if you watch the movie and stop it right before that part, it's great. Like I said, I mean, it's cute. It was definitely very cute. There are some funny moments. There are good moments in this movie that are enjoyable. I did enjoy it. I'm not going to lie and say I didn't enjoy the movie because I did. But the ending kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So those are my kind of final thoughts. I enjoyed it, but the ending rubbed me the wrong way.
I'm gonna have to agree with that assessment, and not just because I'm married to her, but I genuinely do agree. Like it for what it was trying to do, and I mean, you did some different things that you cut out. Cut out like Captain Gantu, who didn't really do the ugly duckling storyline, but the whole him realizing being like an outcast and thinking that he's lost and finding his family in the end on Earth. But I mean, it kind of worked until they're just like, yeah, but somehow a 6-year-old understands the weight and implications of all this, and is like, no, Nani, you should go to college. And I'm like, I know Lilo's like pretty intelligent again for being like a 6-year-old, but I was like, really? I kind of see. I don't mind that she did end up with like. I mean, she was with the neighbors. I mean, even the social worker said like, yeah, you're right next door. We'll rebuild your house. They're not going to be far away. And I mean, the point of like Tutu and David is like, she did still care for. She said like, we are all still Ohana. We're all still family. We're all together. We all live here. Like, that's the point. She's like, willing to look out for her. I mean, she even takes Stitch to the. I think she goes to the dog pound, or even she goes there herself. I don't know, but she watches over her as if she would just have been her own child. So it's kind of still there, but it's also just like the point was that they stayed together because they were family. Even now that you have an extended family of aliens, I guess in a weird way. And all of where are they at? Because I forgot in the show they're all called cousins. All of these other experiments, because they are, I guess, technically related to Stitch, since they all are Jumbo's wild experiments, that they're all cousins to Stitch. So there's that. That's your weird. If that ain't a family portrait for the ages, right there. I think Stitch has the best facial expression, just like, oh dear God, help me. Yeah, but I would recommend. It's not like it's not worth your time, but it's not really the same. I know we always say if you have a remake and you don't like it, you can always watch the original. I mean, they're all on Disney Plus right now, so you can go watch the originals, go watch the show. I mean, the show is fantastic. It's incredible how successful this was and how cool the idea was and what it blossomed into. I'm going to, and I also had to put this in here because this is one of my favorite memes that I laughed out loud so goddamn hard when I saw it the first time. We didn't get this in the new movie, and I kind of wish we did, even though it happened a little differently. Love me some Hawaiian Punch. I like audibly laughed the very first time I ever saw this damn meme of her just whacking Myrtle right in the face, and someone put Hawaiian Punch in the corner. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. That'd be a great ad. That's your ad read right there. Not sponsored by Hawaiian Punch, by the way, but that would be pretty funny. Oh God. All right. Well, so I guess that wraps that whole thing up. Apparently, I did not mean to offend anybody with a dad bod and a goatee. I'm sorry. My bad. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for us. Where do people find you on the internet, and what do you do, if anything?
Well, I was here for this period of time.
Yeah.
I could be found here for this period of time. I eventually may be streaming The Sims content eventually again on Twitch at some point. But beyond that, not much else. You can find me on X or Twitter or whatever we're calling it now at Tin Septum. But that's about it. Yeah, if you want to follow me over there, I'm just chilling.
I meet myself. Good Lord. Yeah, as for me, I mean, I'm always here, all the time. And all the time I am here. I'm not even religious. I'm not even gonna go there. Yeah, I'm here Tuesdays, Thursdays. I'm not really sure what we're doing Thursday. Mainly because Frank said so. But we're trying to hash some things out. I know we got 28 days, 28 weeks, 28 years later coming out later this month. So I know we're excited about that one. Then we start getting into, I think actually John Wick, the ballerina spinoff movie comes out Friday. So that's definitely one to look forward to. And I believe the re-release finally released from, ironically, the prison that is Harvey Weinstein, the Dogma 25th anniversary, I believe, is also out this weekend. So there's some stuff to watch. There's some good stuff out there. Go watch those movies for sure. Because speaking of Kevin Smith, I think me and Frank were tossing around the idea of going through some Kevin Smith movies. Because those are always fun, which is also the basis of our friendship in the first place. So, yeah, maybe we'll get into those. Who knows? So, yeah, I think that about does it. I need to get back to the thing. Jesus. So, well, yeah. There's the music. Oh, no. But hopefully in the next 24 hours, we will figure that out. Until that time, we will see you all the next time. Goodbye.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.